Hi everyone, it's Nick. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Okay, in this video today, we are doing a Buy This Not That Homegoods Homesense edition. If you've never met me before, hi, welcome. You might be thinking, I love HomeGoods. I love HomeSense. It's my favorite store. I'm so excited to see what's great and not awesome at HomeSense. I'm a person who doesn't like HomeSense or HomeGoods, okay? I don't really like it, but it's fun for me to go to HomeGoods and make fun of stuff and also maybe find some diamonds in the rough amongst all the rough. And that's really what we're doing today. I'm gonna be sharing with you category by category which items I think are great and worthy of your hard-earned money and which ones are not awesome. Let's get to it. Okay, first category is going to be barware. So barware I think can actually work at HomeSense. It can actually be really cute at HomeSense. There's some good stuff here. You can get some Moscow Mule mugs like I just found, which is the cute little copper mugs here that are a really good price. I also found things like genuine marble coasters, which I think is great. I saw some in like kind of a really nice sort of cool gray, as well as I've seen like a nice, bright, beautiful Calicut marble white coaster. So I would say there is some good barware at HomeGoods. There is also not so good stuff. And so that brings me to the not that. So there's some like this leopard print cocktail shaker, which is glass. I thought it was plastic because it felt cheap, but no, I was mistaken. It is indeed glass. I don't think it really saves it though, just because it's glass. Leopard print in a barware, listen, if that's your look, if that's your vibe, then you go for it. I don't like animal prints. I just find them to be a little cheesy and a little tacky, and especially on something like a cocktail shaker. Also, I found these martini glasses that had rhinestones around them. And I personally really like my barware to be quite plain and quite simple because I just think the cocktail or the drink should sort of be like the star of the show. I just think it's nice that barware just sort of like slips in unnoticed. I do sometimes think it can be fine to have some little bit of some interesting barware that's maybe got some fluting details or something like that, but leopard print, rhinestones, these are things that I don't think class up your barware. Maybe I'll be generous and say it pulls focus from the drink, let's say that. And it pulls focus from class is what I'm just kidding. I just think that rhinestones in general look cheap and gaudy. Yeah, that's charitable, I think. They're not a great material. They're not something that exudes class and refinement, which I think is more what you should be looking for because you're worth more than cheap rhinestones. So I think you should go for something just a little bit more plain and simple and timeless. Just, you know, it blends in with the rest of your decor and doesn't need to stand out and shout from the rooftops how gaudy it is, which I think is what's happening when you're using the rhinestone ones. So these ones are a miss for me, but there is some cute barware and those are a buy, but there's some buy nots as well, some not bats. Okay, next up is going to be the basket section. So there actually are some really great buys, I think, at HomeGoods, where there's some really simple rattan baskets. A lot of them have some really cute details on them. They might have interesting patterns, they might have interesting colors. You could get some with a chevron or something like that. Like there's some really cool baskets that I think could be really great for storage, whether that's in an office, whether that, you know, is under a desk, or perhaps to put a throw or a blanket in a living room. And I actually think that the baskets at HomeGoods can be really good. I think they're maybe not as experimental in some ways that you might find at other retailers, but I would say that there's some really good classic rattan baskets that you can find there. Some beautiful woven ones that are also a really great price. So those are a buy for me, but the buy nots, I would say that the not that's are going to be anything with like embroidery or any sort of stitching. I found this one that I thought was really cute from first glance, and then I went and I turned it around and they had this, what I could best describe as like, it looked like it was printed on a sheet of paper and then someone hand stitched it on. And I just think the words on the basket detract from what could have been otherwise a really great basket. So this was a really cool woven basket and then they decided to stick a sign on it, which is like so my thing with HomeGoods and HomeSense. It's like, oh, you're so close, you know, like you're so close, but then you had to put words on it and now you've lost me. And that's really what happened with this basket. This is where they went wrong. It's a fine basket until you turn it around, and then it's a not bad. Okay, next area of HomeGoods, buy this, is going to be the candle section. And I think that there are some cute candles. Now, I will admit that for me, 50% of candles is the smell, 50% is how they look. And, you know, admit it, you're the same. Candles sort of feel like home decor, even though obviously they sort of serve a functional purpose, assuming you're not sensitive to scents, because there's always those people that go like, no, we don't do the scents. But if you're okay with the scents, then I think that candles serve a functional purpose of making your house smell really nice and sort of setting a little bit of a mood and some ambiance in your space and whatever. But they also serve sort of an aesthetic purpose in that candles can be really cute and nice, and they add a little bit of warmth and coziness to a space. So I like candles. I like the look of sort of plain simple ones that work with my design style. And I'm gonna be honest, this like island smoothie chiller or whatever one that they had here is never going to be effortlessly worked into my own personal interior. So I think that some of these other ones here, like this is a blood orange and patchouli. It smells really nice. It also looks really nice. This would be an example of a candle that I think is really great and worthy of your time and your money. And it's a little bit cheaper. I think this candle is about like 13 bucks or something like that, which, you know, probably could be $20, $25 at a different retailer. So, you know, great deal there on the candle, good find. But the other ones, I mean, the one here that's kind of made to look like a Frappuccino, no, this is not. It's sort of a smoothie, but it's like in a Starbucks cup and it's got the dome lid on it, whatever. Same candle company as some of the other ones out there. So this, whatever candle company is just working lots of different markets here, but some of them are so overwhelmingly sweet and there's no sugar there. So I don't even know how that works, but it's like a strawberry mango blast or something like that. I just think these candles are gonna make your space feel really cheap because it's gonna smell really, really fake. Like there's no essential oils that are in here that are actually anywhere in any way, shape or form natural. And so it just feels really artificial and really cheap. Not to mention it looks cheap because it's tacky and in the shape of a Frappuccino cup. And that's not what I'm looking for in a candle personally. So buy this would be classy candles that are nice and that are simple in their design, in their aesthetic, but also they also smell like real things that come from, you know, nature and not whatever fake fragrances are put in this other one over here. So it's definitely giving 2007 Bath and Body Works candle for me, and that's why I'm out on this one. Okay, next Buy This Not That is going to be Silverware. So I think that Silverware for HomeGoods, they're really good at like stainless steel. Because here's the thing, you can't, I mean you can, but you can't really screw up stainless steel. Like as a material for your flatware, I think it's a timeless choice. I think it always looks good. Yes, brushed gold is great and matte black is great. And like you can get kind of a little bit experimental with your flatware if you so choose. I have the brushed gold ones from Fable and I love them, but those are a lot more expensive than some of the stuff that you're gonna find at HomeGoods. But if you are interested in going for something that always looks good, that is timeless, it's gonna last you, the paint's not gonna rub off, it's just gonna always be good, it's just the workhorse of the flatware, it's going to be stainless steel. So I would say going for the stainless that you're gonna get in sort of this finish is really nice from HomeGoods. And this was incredibly cheap. These were so inexpensive, they will last you forever, timeless choice, simple, basic Mikasa flatware, and at a really, really, really great price. This is an awesome buy, I would say. Again, if you're looking for something a little bit different in your flatware, you're probably not gonna find it here because the Not That is some of the super weird flatware that basically, let's be honest, didn't sell at other retailers and so wound up in the clearance section here at HomeGoods HomeSense. And this blue metallic changing situation is gonna be a Not That for me. I just think that, again, if you're gonna stick with metals, then I would just really commit to that and not whatever this fake Technicolor Dream Show you have over here on this flatware, which is just not what I'm looking for in my flatware. If you're gonna go for timeless, go with the stainless, great price, great find. But if you're thinking weird and funky, there's other ways to do it than just this blue horror show that we have over here. If you are looking for something a little bit different, the matte black, the Tillag set from IKEA is fine. It's very simple, very basic, matte black set, that works too. I really like my Fable stuff, but the Fable stuff is a lot more expensive, but it is more specialized and a higher quality material than whatever the blue stuff that we have here at HomeGoods. So you're gonna have to pay a lot more money if you want some of those specialty finishes done right, is I guess my point here. But if you want basic, HomeGoods is where to go. Okay, next up is like wooden spoons and other sort of cooking utensils. So they have a lot of OXO Good Grip stuff, which if you are a cook's kitchen or whatever it's called, America's Test, is it America's Test Kitchen? Yeah, America's Test Kitchen. I always get it confused with the Bon Appetit Test Kitchen, but no, it's America's Test Kitchen, which is like the cooks.com people, whatever. If you're obsessed with them like I am, they go do their homework and they make sure to like recommend all like the best stuff. They have a YouTube channel, go check it out. I swear by them, I've never been steered wrong. And OXO Good Grips kind of like always wins as far as best in sort of class, depending on your cooking stuff. And they have tons of selection at HomeGoods. I feel like a lot of OXO Good Grip stuff ends up at HomeGoods HomeSense, which is awesome because it actually is really good stuff that is oftentimes recommended by like people above my pay grade in terms of determining that the stuff is actually amazing. And it ends up at HomeSense and it's like half to 2/3 of the price that you're gonna get at the retailer. So this is a great find. But then there's this tie-dye stuff that also ended up at HomeGoods. And this is gonna be a not that, because again, my personal taste, maybe you like weird things, and I like weird things too, but just not this weird and not in this way. And that is, for me, cooking utensils are not supposed to, in my opinion, detract from the food and the serving and the blah, 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 the rest of the stuff that you have in the kitchen. I don't think you need to make a statements with your wooden spoons with the tie-dye that we have here. So this is gonna be a not that for me. Too many colors going on, a little too kooky, a little too crazy, not really what I'm looking for in my cooking utensils. Stick to the quality stuff that is actually good and is going to last and is going to be easier for you to actually cook in your kitchen, and is also gonna look nice, and is also never gonna go out of style, because a wooden spoon always is good. And maybe skip wasting your money on these weird trinkets that are just gonna detract from your beautiful timeless kitchen that you're looking for. This is not the chance to get your pop of color into your kitchen, okay? It's not your wooden spoons. Stick to the basic ones and the basic utensils and the OXO Good Grip stuff for that. Okay, next up, we have the pillow section. The pillow section is a minefield at HomeGoods. There's some actual really good ones though. I found some neutral ones. I found some that were a little bit more colorful, and I liked all of them. Like, I thought a lot of them were really, really good. I thought there was some with some crazy super weird tassels and stuff, but I would say a lot of them sort of were really basic and timeless and really just beautiful materials actually. Like, I saw somewhere, I didn't see anything that was like cashmere or anything like that. I mean, you didn't feel that diamonds in the rough, but I would say I did see some that were like, you know, wool pillows that were very nice and seemed very comfortable, and some were even down-filled. So I did find some really good ones, as well as some outdoor ones as well that were great at HomeGoods. Then I found this, I guess I would call this the HomeGoods Pride collection that they've got going on here. This is destined for the clearance bin because, let's be honest, gay people don't buy this stuff. But I would say that if you're gonna show your pride, how do I do this without getting like into the whole Target controversy? Corporate pride is a controversial subject for everybody, it feels like these days. And I'm not sure HomeGoods Homesense is where you need to go to support. How about I just say that? Buy from LGBTQ owned businesses and not from this love pillow that you will find at HomeGoods Homesense. Plus, it's just not nice. Like, there's just like, forget the like ethics of it all, and just like, it's not a great pillow. I would say skip this one for me. Okay, couple of chairs that we need to discuss is, first of all, this one, which is going to be a buy this, and that would be this really cool wishbone chair. And it was a comfortable chair. I thought it was a cute wishbone chair. The wishbone chair is a timeless chair. It's been around forever. Well, not forever, but it's just a gorgeously designed, very comfortable, aesthetically pleasing chair. It's like every architect's dream chair. Every architect, I think, has a wishbone chair as a dining chair, like every single one. It's just like a classic piece that's been around forever. And this HomeGoods version, you know, obviously you're gonna make some compromises there. It's not gonna be some super designer chair or whatever, but for 140 bucks, especially when the thing is with dining chairs is that it matters what the price is, not just because you're buying one, but oftentimes you're buying 4 or 6. So the difference between a $150 chair and a $300 chair, you know, is only 150 bucks until you do the math, and all of a sudden now you're spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars extra to shop at another retailer. So this is a fine choice, I think, for a chair. Comes in black, has the cord seat, perfectly reasonable price, timeless design, perfectly fine to get at HomeGoods. The not that though, I'm gonna go with this office chair that had big giant rhinestones. You're probably noticing maybe a trend in terms of what I don't seem to really like. So yeah, so you probably notice a theme here. I don't really love rhinestones on things, but I especially don't like sitting on them in an office chair. Nothing feels more uncomfortable than sitting all day at an office chair, working from home with a rhinestone up your bum. I logistically have a problem with this. Like, it doesn't make sense practically speaking. Obviously, it's also not particularly attractive because it really looks cheap and gaudy. So there's a couple of really strong reasons why I think this office chair should be avoided. I would say, you know, maybe not a wishbone chair for an office chair because that might be a little bit uncomfortable for long periods of time, but there are nicer ones out there. There's even nicer ones out there at HomeGoods, but I would just say that the rhinestone one, this one's gonna be a little bit of a miss for me for those two very important reasons. Okay, next, buy this, not that, is going to be pots and pans and things. Okay, so here's the good news with the HomeGoods Homesense. You can find great brands. Le Creuset, Staub, beautiful, amazing cookware, fabulous. Lodge, also great. Little bit more on the lower to middle price point comparatively to those other two much more expensive premium brands. Lodge is also great. I find some Le Creuset frying pans. I find some Staub. The Staub pot was really, really cute. You don't have a whole lot of color choice at HomeGoods Homesense, depending. I mean, if you're gonna go to Williams-Sonoma, you can go buy whatever you want. You can get any of these that color you want, or you can go to Crate & Barrel, same thing. But if you're looking for a deal on really premium cookware and you know, you wanna look for something that's, you know, 30-ish% off what you're gonna get those other retailers, and you don't really care about color or maybe even size, then I would say going here for your Le Creuset, your Staub, whatever, is actually a really great option. But not that is going to be this artificially distressed shenanigans that we have sitting over here at the HomeSense. This one comes in yellow, but also comes in other colors, and it's made to look like, I don't know, it's from like a kitchen in Mexico that has been used in the family to make carnitas for the last 40 years. It's not. It's brand new, it's artificially distressed, and quite frankly, it looks dirty. This is not a great place to start because it's only gonna get more worn and gross as time goes on, because this is obviously like a lower quality material. I would say go with the Lodge if your budget permits it, because Lodge is not as expensive as Le Creuset and Staub, and also another really, really great option for cast iron. Save your money and go for something like a Lodge, or shop at other retailers where you can find similarly priced stuff. It's not gonna look artificially distressed. It's gonna look like new, and then it will distress as you use it, as you cook it in the kitchen, which is how things actually are distressed in real life, not shown up at HomeGoods already distressed. That's not what we're going for here. So I would say some great options for pots and pans, but there's some to avoid as well. Okay, next up is going to be these trays. I found this one, which was cute and actually, you know, had a little bit of texture almost to it, a little bit of pattern, didn't look distressed. It looked like it was trying to be what it was, which was this really like interesting glaze, and I thought that was really cute. But then I found this one that looked kind of like dog poop, if I'm being completely honest. It reminds me of an old South Park episode. I'm not even gonna get into it. Anyway, if you know, you know. It's just, it looks like dog poop is what I'm saying. And I think it was supposed to be looking like peas. I don't really know what they're trying to make it look like. I guess it's just supposed to be like curved with some little compartments, but to me, that's all I can see. So I just see dog poop here. So I would say avoid dog poop trays. It's not gonna do your hors d'oeuvres any favor, or your chips or your nuts or whatever you're serving at your party. And I would say go for something a little bit like this beautiful ceramic one, which is also perfect. I think it's a porcelain, and it was a cute little one with a nice little interesting glaze. So you can get something a little bit different, a little bit special, but doesn't look like poop. That's I think what we're going for here. Okay, next kitchen item that I want to talk about, buy this, not that, HomeSense, is going to be cutting boards. There's some really great wooden cutting boards that are teak and really, really high, look like they're great quality. They're a little bit oversized, I thought. They're a little bit big, but maybe that's why they're at HomeGoods, because people don't buy giant cutting boards that huge. But if you need one, great. Maybe you can score a deal and you can grab a more like normal sized one if you can so find one. That would be great too. But I would also say something to avoid, not in the cutting board arena, but still in the kitchen, is gonna be these Disney jars. Listen, we could talk about the Disney adults here all day. Lord knows I could, because I kind of got into a TikTok spiral where I just watched like weird adult Disney people. Like, you know, the people where you're just like, you're a 45-year-old woman and you're wearing like a Minnie Mouse t-shirt. It's a little bit like, just like for fun. Like, is that just like what you wear? Like, is that not just for the kids, but like, that's just actually what you do? Or remember those ones when like COVID opened like back up again, and then these people would go to like the Magic Kingdom, they would go to Disneyland, and then they would cry when they saw Disney. Like, I was a little bit, those people, I like Encanto as much as the next person. I've seen it a few times, only once with a child. So like, I get it. I like a Disney movie, but not enough to put the cookie jars in my kitchen. I think those ones need to be left on the shelf, and go for a nice cutting board instead. Use that money that you were gonna put towards those Disney canisters and throw them on over to a cutting board, or the Lodge skillet that we just talked about. Something else besides this one, I would say. Okay, so that's it for all the good things that I liked at HomeGoods. So now we're just going to do what I like to call a lightning round, where I just make fun of a bunch of stuff that I saw at HomeGoods, so we're just gonna talk about it. First up we have here is what I'm gonna call these Glamples, which is these glam apples that I found. If you want to decorate with apples or other assorted fruit, totally fine. I think the pink shellac that they've got going on here, a little glammy, little bit overkill. I think just going for something a little bit more subtle would be best, because I just think this is trying too hard and it just feels a little bit cheesy, I would say. So I would say avoid the Glamples, if I'm being quite honest. Next up, the word signs. I'm a broken record with the word signs. We've all made fun of the word signs, but you know what? Everyone's like, why do you still make fun of word signs? Because they still sell it, okay? So that's why my mission is still here. If they didn't sell it, I wouldn't have to talk about it, but they did, and here's proof. Here's photographic evidence that they're still selling it at the HomeGoods. So that's why I'm still going on about the word signs. Let your house do the talking without a sign. I think that's where we're at now, aren't we? Okay, next up I'm gonna say, and this is gonna surprise you, it's gonna be the organic sort of shaped and textured vases, or vases, whatever you wanna say, I don't really care. Here's the thing with those. I know you're thinking, Nick, this seems like this would be your style. This sounds amazing. Yes, I get it, but this is such an item, a find, that you can find in better places than HomeGoods. So it's not that this is bad, like all the other stuff that I've talked about. It's not that it's ugly. It's not that I hate it because I think it's hideous. I'm not gonna go in your house and be like, oh, that's obviously objectively annoying and you should probably take that. Like, it's not like, I don't hate it, but I would say that there's like great ceramicists that you can find. There's great places that you can buy vintage. You can buy old pots. Like there's no shortage of places to find sort of old pots that you can find. People on Etsy, people on First Dibs if you want to go the vintagey route, if you want to buy some like old pots that are like 40 years old or something and use those for decorating. Like there's places that you can find this type of stuff. New, old, doesn't matter, vintage, whatever, shop at a thrift store, I don't know. There's so many places you can find this type of thing without necessarily going and paying at HomeGoods. Because honestly, this isn't cheap. Like I think this one here is like 50 bucks or something. And I'm like, with $50, you can find, or a lot less than that, you can find things that are a little bit more authentic and a little bit more, well, just like things that are a little bit more personal and things that have a little bit more of a history. Because you might think like, oh, but no one can tell, but like we can tell. Like it's one of those things I'm even finding for myself, replacing some things in my home that I bought because I filled space, things like this, and just trying to find and curate things over time that have more meaning to me, that are a little bit more special, that I sort of found, that have a little bit more of a history. And I just think there's better places to find than HomeGoods for this type of stuff. And finally, we have some sort of wall decor, and I'm gonna go with a not that on these couple here. First is your old fave and mine rhinestones, or whatever these things are, these glitter balls, we're gonna call them. What is this even doing? Like, what is this saying? What is this? What is the point? Where are we? Like, this makes me feel very existential. What is this shape? What is these stones? Like, what does this all mean? Like, I don't even know why we're selling this and why we're putting it in our home anymore. I just think this is a skip. It doesn't mean anything. It's meaningless. And it just is there to fill up space. And I get it. We all have those moments where we just filled things up because we just were like, okay, fine. But your house doesn't have to be designed all at once. So just take your time and find things that you really, really, really like. Now, if you fall in love with this, you have at it. I wouldn't ever, but that's a me thing, not a you thing. But I would just rethink some of this really generic stuff and find something that is a little bit more personal, if you can, or make it. If you have more talent than I do, go for it. And then also I'm gonna couple in with my little lightning round is these doors, windows, whatever, that is just, this is inauthentically distressed. One of my least favorite design trends of the last decade, which as you all know. And sure enough, you've got these old windows, which are not old because they're brand new and shipped in from China. And it's like, what in the Kelly Clarkson collection is happening with these? These are just, they're tired, they're done. Again, you find an old barn, you find an old window, you wanna string it up on your wall because it's rusticy farmhouse and you wanna do that, then you just have at it. I have more respect for that than this. I just think this is inauthentic, not real, and I just think there's a poor person in China who works on this factory lineup that's pumping out, that's got our sandpaper and they're rubbing the new paint off of these old doors and going, what the hell are these North Americans doing? That's what I think they're doing. I don't want to meet that person who literally sandpapers these doors every day. And I want to apologize to them because I'm sorry you have to do this, but stop buying it and maybe they won't have to, is I think where I'm at on this. Okay, that's it for me for today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. As always, don't take this all too seriously, just my opinion. You can have a different one. That's what makes life worth living, is we all get to have different opinions, except pride pillows. Those are universal, apparently. Until next time, see you all in the next video. Thanks, bye.